Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mo Football. And today we have a special guest for a special recording. This one was unplanned, but when STL Santos calls, we have to make the call. So, and today we have our good friend Santos. So, how you doing, Carlos? And hopefully, no more fire to pull out.
Thank you, Mo. Doing great. It's an honor to be here on your show.
Excellent. So yes, so Carlos, for those that maybe don't live in St. Louis or lived under a rock or others, could you tell us a little bit about who sent STL Santos is and how did it start?
Yeah, STL Santos is one of the, I believe, seven recognized supporter groups for St. Louis City SC. We are supporter groups that have an affinity for the Latino Hispanic community. We were formed by, at the time, it was seven of us who loved to watch soccer together at Amsterdam Tavern or St. Louis FC games. And we just started forming a really great community around soccer, around football. And when the team was announced, we thought, okay, we would love to at least get more Latinos to the games. But we realized that not a lot of people of the Latino Hispanic community knew that we were going to get a soccer team. So we said, okay, let's just start with like a Twitter page, a Facebook page, and just spread the word that there's a team coming. Here's how you can get tickets. Here's how you can get season tickets. This is where the supporter section is going to be. Not really planning yet at that time to be a full-fledged supporter group, just kind of seeing how things went. For that first game where the stadium was inaugurated, against Bayer Leverkusen. We just said we're going to set up a table and a chair and see who shows up. And to our surprise, a lot of people showed up from the Latino community wanting to be a part of this. And so, since those humble beginnings of one table and seven of us, this year entering our third full season, we have over 800 members who identify with STL Santos.
Wow. So it started with a small table and a freezing cold game, which
Very cold.
uh, being Latin, I don't think that's what is expected.
Yeah, it
Even
was
for a
very
French
cold.
guy like me, I did not expect the cold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My toes were frozen, and we lost, but we knew something special was coming.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh, that loss went completely off of me because then after that, Leverkusen just went on an undefeated season.
That's
So
right.
I guess we helped them
Yeah,
kickstart it pretty well.
yeah,
Awesome. So yes. So it started from a small table to almost 800. So you guys are pretty much we'll say one of the big voices that when it comes to soccer in St. Louis City. You guys are everywhere. Super Santos is like the unofficial mascot of the whole team. So how does it feel to, I guess, to be known that you guys can actually bring a lot more communities together? Because it sounds like Latino is Latin, but there's a lot of other people that have joined into that community, and so how does that worked out to where it's like it's SDL Santos, but it's almost the United Nation
yeah,
Santos.
yeah. Our pillars, it's because we form a 501c3. We're a nonprofit group. We raise money for the community, and so we had to draft a mission statement. We had to draft our goals, and we do an annual report every year. And we decided to use three words to encompass our mission. So in Spanish, it will be pasión, orgullo, comunidad, which means passion, pride, community. And when we talk about comunidad, we're not just talking about the Latino community. We're talking about anyone who is part of St. Louis and the region around that. This place that so many of us call home. Maybe some of us didn't come from here, but we've certainly come to appreciate it. Has given us opportunities, and now has given us a wonderful soccer team that we want to be a part of it. So we welcome people from everywhere. We have people from France, from Turkey, from Romania, Thailand, Philippines, all over the place. There's always the odd Irish guy who shows up. But we love it. You don't have to speak Spanish, you don't have to be Hispanic, but you just have to have a desire to get to know the Latin community, be okay with the way that we celebrate soccer, which is not for everybody. Um, but for those who like the way we enjoy watching soccer, and dancing around and banging on drums, then we're a place for you to come and hang out. So it's really important for us, more than anything, regardless of how many members we have, is that everybody feels welcome in our group and at the stadium. And so we are just wanting to make sure that when people find us, that they always feel comfortable around us. If something were to happen where they don't feel comfortable, then we have to deal with that. And we've dealt with situations like that. We have a incident report tool in our website, because as in every sport, there's always people who, kind of put a negative vibe on the party. And so we have a very diligent discipline committee who reviews complaints. And, it's becoming a well-oiled machine where we're able to get better at doing this, because it's still it's a lot of time and effort, but we have a really great board of directors and volunteers who make it run really smooth.
Yes, dedication. I'll definitely say it. It's one of those things, and and outside of the supporting and the chants and everything, we do see around that you guys are doing a lot more than just you know the soccer part. There's all the charities and others. So is that something that originally started with, or was it part of the whole plan from the very
Yeah,
beginning
It
to
was it was
outreach?
part of it was part of the whole plan from the beginning, and I will give a shout out to the Sin Lulligans. They kind of laid the foundation
Yes.
for that. I used to watch games with the Sin Lulligans when it was St. Louis FC, and they had a charity that they supported, and I think it's really important. All the supporter groups do that. I think it's really important to give back to the community. Where we differ a little bit is that we focus exclusively, to the extent that we can, on um, organizations that support immigrant Latino communities or causes related to that. So, for example, we've done a couple events with Marquette Park, which is a soccer park that is located in the Dutchtown South neighborhood. And although they are for everybody, that is a very immigrant densely populated area. My mom lives there. I live nearby. I have a lot of friends who live in the area. There's a lot of immigrants, not just from Latin America, but other parts of the world there. So we're like, okay, this organization fits with our purpose. And so we try to be a voice for immigrants and specifically the Latino community. But sometimes we extend a little bit beyond that. But as much as we can, we try to stay within sort of that realm. There's tons of charities doing great work in St. Louis, but we figure, hey, we're here. Um, let's support those that have really made an impact in a lot of our lives. You have places like Casa de Salud, which is a clinic for immigrants. A lot of our members have used those services. You have the International Institute, MICA Project, St. Louis Crisis Nursery. These are places that a lot of our members have used. So we're not only supporting them, but these are places that we rely on as a community. So that's why we try to support those charities in particular.
And yes, and those hours definitely awesome. And that market park, you guys had me drive all the way 30 plus minutes. So yes, it was all worth it. So
Yeah.
I think those games every year happens. I definitely recommend everyone to at least attend it once or twice when coming in. So other than that, so you spoke about your board of directors. So you guys are having the event on Sunday to elect, I believe, three new.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So when we set up our bylaws, this is hard work, and we're all volunteering our time, and it takes a lot of time, not just during the season, but in the off season to run a supporters group. And so one thing that we wanted to make sure is that nobody felt burnt out. Because we think if you start feeling burned out, you start not loving what you do, then you're not doing things the right way.
right.
So we all of us said, okay, we're gonna have 3 year. You can run again after those 3 years, or you can fall off the board. Um, and so we have three wonderful people who will not be on our board anymore. Are part of our founders. So that is Paco Francisco,
Okay.
Cici Beltran, and Patty Patricia Sanchez de Andrei. So um, we're very sad to lose them as board members, but we know that they've given so much time, literal sweat, blood, and tears, all three of them, to help form this group. They've gotten to a good place. And then this Sunday we'll have three new board members, new blood, fresh blood that's gonna come in with new ideas, form part of our 9 member board, and bring new things to the table. So that rotation is important for us. And I ask anybody who's a member of Santos or joins Santos to consider being a volunteer or joining the board in the future, because you get to shape what this is. This is not Carlos's group. This is not anybody's group. This was formed for St. Louis, and St. Louis needs to decide if they want to keep it going or not. My term ends next year, and I'm actually this year on. As of now, I stepped down as president because I want somebody else, a new person, to take on the reins. And so this year I'll be supporting behind the scenes a little bit, but it's just so exciting to see new people come to the front and see what new ideas they bring. Yeah, so I hope people get involved and come to the election, vote for your new board of directors. And if you don't like it and you don't like what we do, then come next year, you should run and join the board, and then you can help shape things up the way you wanted to shape them.
Nice. So I don't know, maybe politicians should do the same thing. That would be awfully nice.
I'm sorry.
I said maybe politicians should be doing that too, right?
Oh, right.
Every
Yeah,
3
yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yes.
And they get paid. We don't.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I think, and just hearing those of you that, looks like will be stepping down. So I think it's probably the faces that we always see. So it definitely, hopefully you guys will still show up to games and all that, right? So it'll just
Oh,
be
yeah.
behind the
Yeah, yeah.
scene.
Everybody who I mentioned, everybody's still coming to games volunteering, but there's so much behind the scenes that people don't know happens. You spend just on a game day, you typically start working on supporter related stuff, especially if you're on the board. If it's a 7:30 p.m. game, it's normal that by noon, if not earlier, you're already working on stuff.
Ooh.
So you're spending an entire day of your weekend, and then when the game is over, you still have to put everything away, clean up. It's like you end up getting home at like midnight, 7 p.m. So it's a long day. And then you're doing stuff throughout the week,
Yeah.
or you're planning away trips, you're ordering flags. There's a lot of work. But the more hands we have, and this year we'll have way more hands, the easier the job is. So we're grateful. So many volunteers have stepped forward, and we're really excited to see how this grows.
Wow. You guys that's almost a 12-hour shift
Oh yeah,
just
yeah,
for, and then you guys get to miss part of the games because you're either dealing with something around or Capo is facing the
yeah,
games. Wow. So
yeah. I
yes,
think
yes.
it's people don't understand that. Yeah, the game becomes secondary. The game is important. It's fun to see the team do well, but we're there for the community, and we put in that work because we want everybody else to have a good time.
Yes. So yourself before others. So others before yourself. Sorry. So that's definitely appreciated. So yes, so I guess the other part of that, you mentioned the hard work. So the other ones that everybody kind of enjoy seeing during a game, but they don't really know what's behind the scenes when it comes to the TIFOs.
Yeah,
We all enjoy them. We all take pictures and we all post them everywhere. We do see you guys, have other people to come and help families and others. So, um, how much of that work comes into the TIFO and then the pride that you guys have when you see it lift up and
yeah.
roll down?
It's a really it's weird and a beautiful experience because a tifo only lasts maybe 5 minutes, if that.
Yes.
Um, and the process starts months before. You have to sketch the tifo, send it over to the team to make sure that they approve the concept. You have to order the fabric, you have to get the supplies, and you have to find the space. You have to gather everybody, and usually in a week or 2 weeks, you get it all done: tracing, painting, drying, and then it comes down to only 5 minutes. But the way I see it, it's almost like it's a love letter. It's like a gift to the players and to the fans. Um, because even though it doesn't last forever up there, I think you create so many good memories. Not just when you see it, but when you're painting it, you get a whole community working on something, and that just makes you feel a lot more ownership towards the team. It makes you feel really good, that all these people can come together and work on something beautiful. Um, for nothing, just because they want to do it, just out of love. We love that. I mean, and and we have tried to keep as many as we can in storage. We don't know what's going to happen with them, but even if it's just up for a few seconds, it gives everybody so much pride that even if they just had a little spot of yellow that they painted, or they traced part of it, or they did the whole design, that they contributed something to this, and I think that makes everybody feel really good.
Sure is, and have us all run over to the place when we hear, oh, there's strings, or there's someone on top of the roof that's it's
Yeah,
happening. So there's always that excitement
yeah,
before even we know who the roster, the lineup
yeah,
is. They're asking if there's a tifo, so that certainly does help. So for the one before we go to the fun part of things, so if someone were to ask you, what does STL Santos and and soccer STL soccer means to you, um, how would that come from you?
yeah. For me, STL Santos and City feels a hole that I had in my heart when I left Colombia. So I used to watch soccer every other weekend, live in Medellin. I was a fan of Deportivo Independiente Medellin, which was one of four teams in my city. And soccer was just really big. It was a part of life. I used to save the allowance. My dad would give me a little allowance to eat in school, but I wouldn't eat. Instead, I would save that money so I could buy the cheapest supporter ticket. And my friend and I, we used to walk because we didn't have money for anything but the ticket. We just had water and some flags, and we'll walk about 2 miles to the stadium, watch the game, walk back, and my team usually sucked. so
Uh,
and so regardless though, like it was such a you felt so good. You felt like every problem or any anxiety that you had, well, it all went away when you went and supported your team, and you felt part of something that was bigger than you. Give you a lot of pride for the city, for your community, for the people around you. And when I came to the United States, I love it here. I mean, St. Louis is a great place to live, but there's always that part missing. I was like, man, if we only could have a soccer team, that would be so great. Um, and once that became a reality, I think for me and for a lot of people, what the team and what Santos means is bringing back a part of home here, back to St. Louis, and getting to share it with people who are maybe not familiar with it.
yeah. Oh, that and I think that's probably the beautiful things about the sport itself. So we know that soccer just means, and that's why if you see some of my logo, it says football is life and life is football. So it's pretty much the exact same thing where it was that one part where if even everything goes wrong outside of the stadium for 90 minutes plus, all of the issues goes away
Yeah.
for a bit. So I definitely can relate to that part. So growing up, so who was like one of your favorite soccer player? From your city or that you watch overseas that were like, this is what football is.
Yeah. I think, I mean, one of the greatest, craziest soccer players, even though he played for my home team rival, is Rene Guita, the
Okay.
goalkeeper, the guy who patented the scorpion kick.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I was very little when he still played, but I mean, I think it's really rare to see that nowadays. People who so freely, professional players who just play like for fun, and I kind of miss that. A lot of players that back in the day just used to do crazy things because for them it was just fun. It wasn't just for the paycheck. They were just having fun with it, and I love that's why they call him a loco guita, the crazy guita, because he was crazy.
makes
He was
sense.
insane. And because of some of his stuff, he allowed goals that shouldn't have happened either. But who cares? That's part of life. That's part of football. And I miss that. I miss players like him who just. I think the closest we've had recently is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, where he
God.
kind of is also, he's like, I don't care. I'm just going to, do what I want. I get it. Soccer is more modern, needs to be some structure and some rules, but it's a game. And people forget it. It should be a game, it should be fun. And I think Latin American soccer and Brazilian, Colombian soccer, what makes it so special is that people are having fun with it. It's not a chore. It's not this thing you have to do. It's something that you grew up playing every corner at every stage of life, and it should always be fun. So anytime you have players like that, I love to watch them. And so, I think that's what I love about players like Celio Pompeo. I hope he comes back. He's always smiling. You can tell he's having
Yes.
fun. He's playing hard. It's frustrating, but he's having fun with it. So I just love any player that you can tell that is enjoying what they're doing.
Excellent. Yes, he's a perfect example. And I think the last one I spoke to was Sadiq Hassan that used to play for SIUE. So he also mentioned that is that, he grew up in Iraq. So he saw war, he saw everything else. And when he plays soccer, it's just a game for him and doesn't, go as crazy because he knows that he's seen the worst of things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
football is the nice part. So, yes. So any European players are there?
Well, he's not a European, but plays in Europe. My favorite player right now is Mo Salah. I think
Okay.
he
Yes.
just he is so good, not just at what he does, but again, the way he smiles. He had an interview a while back. I can't remember. It was Andy Robertson or who told him like, "Hey, when you miss a shot, don't frown, don't get upset, because people are watching you, your teammates are watching you, and they're gonna feel upset with you. So if you see a lot of times when he misses a shot, he smiles, or when he gets a call he doesn't like, he's just like laughs it off. I love that about him. You can tell he also enjoys the game. He's very passionate. I think right now he's the best player in Europe, up there
It's
with
debatable.
Vinicius, with you got Vini, you got Haaland, you got this great group of players who are playing in Europe right now, and they're really fun to watch. But for me, Mo Salah is one of the best.
So are
Just
you a Liverpool
another good
fan?
Mo. I am a Liverpool fan.
Oh,
I
I
always
won't
like
hold that
cheering for
against
the
you, but
underdog. Yeah, many people hold that against me, but yeah, and they also have Luis Diaz, who is from Colombia,
yes,
one of our heroes back home. So it's really fun to cheer for them.
I will say his dad is also a
Yeah,
hero, and
his dad is a
uh,
local hero and a local meme.
yes, and he's definitely shows you also how people, how soccer goes about. For some people, you can see he enjoys it every time
Yeah,
you see his son play. So that's
yeah,
and he's seen the worst too. So
yeah,
yes. Awesome. So yeah, so I did in that so on the St. Louis City part. So we're pretty much had the media day today and we're just maybe a month away. So how excited are you? Is there one thing that you're hoping to see from the team um
yeah.
this year?
I'm. This feels like the culmination. So I almost feel like last year, and I don't mean this as a cop out, but I feel like last season, which was terrible for us, though, it was a lot of experimenting of what works and what doesn't work, and you could see that glimpse of greatness towards the end of the season when they play in the League's Cup and when the new players arrive. You could see that, okay, we've got something brewing, and I think that made it easier to swallow that it was such a bad season. I think we all loved both Coach Hackworth and we love Bradley Cornell when he was in. But have nothing bad to say about this new coach, and I'm just excited to see what he does with all these players that he has now. I think we learned a lot of lessons last year, but I hate to be a coach, because I don't know anything about anything. I just like to watch it. What it feels great is that they seem to have really good fighting spirit. um when a team has that, I think it can go really far, and I think that's what we had in the first year. And I think on this third season, a lot of things are going to come together, and I think hopefully at least they're going to be a team that, we had so many ties last year. This is going to be a team, I think, that's going to fight hard to turn those ties into wins.
Yes. Yes. And I think it's quite fair. There was a lot of injuries too and all that. So I guess
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it was a blessing and then a curse for the first
Yeah.
great season.
Yeah.
So yes, so definitely appreciate your time. I know we've had a little technical difficulties, but that's the beauty of going live. And of course, when we're not live, everything is working well. So other than that, so anything else you would like to share with us with STL Santos, um, or anything else that you would like
Yeah, I would
someone
just
to know?
remind. Yeah, I'd love to remind everybody that STL Santos is free to join. We have an application on our website at stlsantos.com. If you're not sure, just come find us before every game at the Pepper Lounge, which is right there on the corner of Locust. And I forget the name of the other street, but really near the stadium. So just 2005 Locust Street, or the Pepper Lunch. Just Google it and come party with us. Make some friends, make some noise, and hopefully you find a community that you enjoy. And I stay tuned also for away games. We'll have special things that we'll be doing for that and for much more outside of the season. So thank you so much, Mo. It's just really great to be here and spread the word about Santos.
Yes, and I think I probably will feel very bad or mean about myself if I don't mention Super Santos.
Yeah,
I think he's probably like the nicest, coolest person. Yeah, you can know pretty much in soccer and here.
yeah,
Saying that when he saw his son on his way to Kansas City was one of
yeah,
those nice reward, for him especially. So
yeah,
so we know him as I think I also know him with without the mask. But for
yeah.
you, how does like Super Santa represent? Because he's branded
Super,
in
yeah.
life.
Super Santo represents a lot of the energy and spirit of Santos. He shows up. He just showed up wearing this uniform to one of our first parties that we had for Santos, and ever since that day, he has just not given up on the energy and the enthusiasm that he has. He's always cheering everybody up. He's making sure people are on their feet. A lot of people know he. First of all, he doesn't get paid by us or the team. He's a regular fan who chooses to do this, which is crazy. He spends
Yes.
his own money. He does all of this for just the privilege of usually not watching the game. He doesn't get to see the game.
Yeah,
um,
yes.
a lot of
So
times he's either freezing cold or dehydrating because of the uniform that he wears. His
yes.
arms are tired because he was waving that flag. I mean, this man goes above and beyond, and he always has a smile on his face, and he inspires a lot of other people. We also have Super Santa, uh,
Yep. Yes.
who is sort of a counterpart to Super Santo, and she also shows up to almost every game, cheering people up. And we've been seeing a lot of people who are also wearing masks, and we welcome that. We want other people to feel free to express themselves. And enjoy soccer the way that they want to enjoy it. So if they want to wear a mask or a hat or whatever, and become one of our superheroes, then they're always welcome to do that. We love that energy that Super Santo and a lot of people like him bring to our group.
Yeah, I definitely liked it. And I think when I used to watch wrestling, so that's where I think I kind of Rey Mysterio, those were the masks
Yeah,
that I started to kind of kind of always intrigued on, the story behind each of those masks. So
yeah.
so when I spoke into him and the story behind that was, and I think they all made in Mexico, I believe his. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
his
it's
stuff is
not.
made in Mexico, and the reason why our logo is a luchador
Yes.
mask, so it was inspired in part by the El Santo, who was a famous Mexican luchador, and then
Okay.
we added the fleur de lis to represent St. Louis, and it's very simple, but the nod to so luchador has two meanings. It means wrestler, but it also means like a fighter, like somebody who doesn't give up.
Okay.
And that is the connection with for us with lucha libre, with soccer, with our supporters group, is that we have all these people. We don't give up. We're always going to be cheering. We're going to be maybe a little eccentric, not to everyone's taste, but you're going to be welcome and you're going to have fun with us. So that's what we wanted to do from our logo from the beginning. And it's great to see people like him show up and have a good time.
Awesome. So I think that's almost like the perfect closure of today's episode. I definitely appreciate your time, and I think I am part of the Santos.
Yes, you are.
So yes. So I think it was unofficial and it was official. So I unfortunately I haven't had the privilege to party with you guys in the stand just yet, but this year that's my goal.
Love it.
Um, and definitely appreciate your time and hope that everyone will be that's part of the Santos will either join this year part of the board or in the future
Yeah.
to get involved. And hopefully we'll see you all at Energizer Park.
Yeah.
They picked the the hardest word for me to say in English.
Yeah. Maybe it's not very accessible. I think it's okay if you want to call it City Park.
I will probably do it most of the time. Yes. Yes. So definitely appreciate your time. I hope you safe drive back home.
Thank you.
And for those of you that watched this episode, thank you all for joining. And make sure you follow not only STL Santos, but more football. And we'll see you very soon in the nearest game.
All right. Vamos. Ale.
Thank you. Allez.
Thank
Je l'aime.
Bye.
And recording. And recording. All right. So yeah. So it looks like I will be staying in because
Okay.
it's still uploading.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So
Thanks,
what
Mo.
I'll do is I'll take do the editing, and
Great.
hopefully we'll have it ready by the morning.
Thank you.
And definitely appreciate the time. Sorry about the technical
No,
difficulties.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. But thank you so much,
Yeah.
Mo. I'll see you
All right.
soon.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.